She was trusted, respected, a familiar face in a small, close-knit community. She taught children about faith, morality, and right and wrong. Every Sunday, she stood in front of young minds, guiding them with calm words and gentle authority. No one suspected that behind that role was a woman capable of unimaginable violence. This is the story of how a Sunday school teacher realized she was going to death row, and the tragic murder of an innocent child named Sandra Cantu. This is a case that shook an entire town and exposed how evil can hide in plain sight. On March 27, 2009, in the quiet town of Tracy, California, an 8-year-old girl went outside to play. Sandra Cantu was a third grader, bright, cheerful, and known for her big smile. It was a warm Friday afternoon, the kind of day where parents felt safe letting their children ride bikes or play nearby. Sandra never came home. By nightfall, panic had set in. Her family searched the neighborhood. Neighbors joined in. Police were called. Within hours, Tracy transformed from a peaceful suburban town into the center of a desperate search for a missing child. No one knew it yet, but Sandra Cantu was already dead, and the person responsible was watching the search unfold from close by. Sandra lived with her grandparents, who were her primary caregivers. She was last seen around 4:30 p.m., playing outside her home in the Orchard Estates mobile home park. When she failed to return, her grandparents immediately feared something was wrong. This was not a child who wandered off. Sandra was dependable. She followed rules. As the minutes turned into hours, police began canvassing the area. Amber alerts were issued. Helicopters flew overhead. Volunteers searched fields, canals, and empty lots. Candles and prayers filled the nights. The entire community rallied around one hope: that Sandra would be found alive. Among those offering comfort and prayers was a woman named Melissa Huckaby. Melissa Huckaby was 28 years old. She lived in the same mobile home park as Sandra's family. She was a Sunday school teacher, a mother, someone others described as friendly, talkative, and deeply religious. She was also married to a youth pastor. In the eyes of the community, Melissa was someone you trusted around children. She participated in the search. She spoke to reporters. She comforted Sandra's grieving family. At one point, she even claimed to have seen Sandra the day she disappeared. It made her seem helpful, concerned, but investigators would later realize something was off. Melissa's stories kept changing. As the search intensified, police began conducting interviews with residents of the mobile home park. Melissa told detectives she had seen Sandra that afternoon, then later changed details about where and when. In another version, she claimed a mysterious man had approached her, trying to kidnap her, and she fought him off. She even suggested Sandra might have been taken by someone else. These inconsistencies raised red flags. Experienced investigators know one thing: people who are telling the truth do not need to constantly revise their story. Still, at this stage, there was no evidence tying Melissa directly to Sandra's disappearance. The case remained open. Hope was fading. Then, 13 days later, everything changed. On April 6, 2009, a family walking near an irrigation pond in nearby Madera County made a horrific discovery. Inside a suitcase submerged in the water was the body of a young girl. It was Sandra Cantu. The news devastated the community. The 8-year-old had been sexually assaulted and murdered. The manner of her death was especially brutal. Sandra had been strangled. The suitcase itself became a crucial piece of evidence. Investigators traced it back to a specific brand sold at local stores. They began narrowing down who could have had access to it, and soon their attention returned to someone they already knew. Melissa Huckaby. Melissa had purchased a suitcase matching the description. More importantly, she lived close enough to Sandra to gain her trust. Investigators re-interviewed Melissa, this time with a sharper focus. Again, her stories shifted. She appeared nervous, agitated. At one point, she suddenly blurted out a confession, but even then, she tried to control the narrative. Melissa claimed the killing was an accident. She said Sandra had been playing in her home, that things got out of hand, that she panicked, but the physical evidence told a different story. This was not an accident. This was a deliberate act of violence against a child. When confronted with forensic findings, Melissa's demeanor changed. The mask began to slip. She admitted to sexually assaulting Sandra. She admitted to strangling her, and she admitted to placing her body inside a suitcase and dumping it miles away. The calm, religious teacher was gone. In her place was a woman exposed for what she truly was, a predator. Her arrest sent shockwaves through Tracy. People struggled to understand how someone who taught children about faith could commit such an act. Parents questioned their own assumptions, and Sandra's family faced a grief beyond comprehension. The investigation uncovered deeply disturbing details about Melissa Huckaby's life. She had a history of mental health issues, a troubled upbringing, and unresolved trauma, but none of it excused what she did. Prosecutors would later describe her as manipulative and calculating. They argued that Melissa deliberately groomed Sandra, that she used familiarity and trust to isolate her. This was not a crime of impulse, it was a crime of opportunity. And Sandra was the victim. Melissa was charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and sexual assault. The prosecution sought the death penalty. From the beginning, the case was closely watched. The idea that a Sunday school teacher could commit such a crime horrified people across the country. In court, Melissa often appeared detached. At times, she smiled. At other times, she seemed unaware of the gravity of the situation. Experts testified about her mental state. The defense argued she was mentally ill. The prosecution countered that she knew exactly what she was doing. And the jury listened. Sandra Cantu's family attended every court session. They listened as graphic details of Sandra's final moments were described. No parent or grandparent should ever have to hear such things. Their pain was visible, their resolve unwavering. They wanted justice for Sandra, and they wanted the world to remember her not as a victim, but as a child who was loved. In 2012, after weeks of testimony, the jury reached a verdict. Melissa Huckaby was found guilty on all counts. Then came the penalty phase. The question was simple, yet heavy. Should Melissa Huckaby live or die? The jury deliberated. They considered the brutality of the crime, the age of the victim, the abuse of trust. They also considered Melissa's background and mental health. In the end, the decision was unanimous. Melissa Huckaby was sentenced to death. As the sentence was read, she showed little reaction, no visible remorse, no apology to Sandra's family. she was transferred to death row at San Quentin State Prison. For the first time, the reality set in. The Sunday school teacher was now a condemned inmate. Today, Melissa Huckaby remains on death row. Her appeals have continued, as is standard in capital cases, but her conviction stands. Sandra Cantu's name is etched into the history of California's most disturbing crimes. Her case is taught in criminal psychology courses. It is cited in discussions about predators within trusted roles. And it serves as a reminder that danger does not always look dangerous. Sandra was 8 years old. She liked playing outside. She loved her family. She had a future full of promise. That future was stolen by someone who should have protected her. Someone who hid behind faith and trust. True crime stories often focus on killers, but at Silent Authority, we remember the victims. Sandra Cantu was not just a headline. She was a child whose life mattered, and her story deserves to be told with honesty, dignity, and respect. Evil does not always announce itself. Sometimes it smiles, sometimes it teaches, sometimes it prays. And that is what makes cases like this so important to understand, because awareness saves lives, and remembering Sandra Cantu ensures she is never forgotten.